Good morning and welcome to All Abilities Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Deb, and my goal is to encourage and inspire you to live your dream life in spite of any physical limitations you may encounter. I've been in a wheelchair for over 25 years now, but I still lead a normal, happy, productive life, and I hope to show tips and ideas on how you can adapt to be able to do anything you want to do. These are my grandsons, and follow us as we share this journey. Today's video is for all of those people not in a wheelchair that don't realize what you go through every day. One of my biggest pet peeves in life are architects who build things without ever having spent any time in a wheelchair. I wish they would make every student in architectural school go through the community in a wheelchair just to see the obstacles, to see how hard it is to push a manual wheelchair up a ramp that's very steep, and put more thought into it. I can't tell you how many places I've gone to that the handicap stall in the bathroom, the door swings inward and there's not enough room to get your wheelchair all the way in and close the door behind you. I'll show you over here. This community has sidewalks, but see this sidewalk here? The transition from the road to the sidewalk is a little sketchy. I don't want to go on that with my wheelchair. Come over to this side of the street, and once again we've got a sidewalk, but see, transition from road to sidewalk. So nope, I'm not getting on the sidewalk. I'm having to go in the street. Sidewalk goes all along here. The street is at an angle. I know that they did this for runoff whenever there's rain, so the water will run off to the sides. But it makes it, if you're in a wheelchair, it makes you leaning the whole time, which is always a little nerve-wracking. I have this fear that someday I'm going to tip over and look like an idiot laying in the street. So, sidewalk on this side of the street is over there, overgrown with grass. But then it gets up here, about 20 feet before the road, it just stops. And then you're in grass, and if there's been any moisture, then you're in mud. So we'll come back over on this side, see, beautiful sidewalk in front of this house. And then we get up here, turning. Okay, here's sidewalk on one side of the road. Not going there with the wheelchair. Here's sidewalk on the other side of the road. Don't know if you can see how steep that is going down and then back up. Looks like the sidewalk caved in. So nope, not going there. We come over here. This beautiful sidewalk ends at the grass, and it's not quite wide enough for the wheelchair, so you run the risk of slipping down into the gutter. Over on this side, transition's not bad. You can get from the street onto that sidewalk, and you can go a little bit, but then you get that great big rut right up there. So you have to turn around and come back off of the sidewalk. So here I am rolling down the middle of the street. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of traffic out here this time of day, because otherwise I have to keep an eye on what's going on around me and move over and park on the edge until the cars go by. So right here, sidewalk, big drop off, can't do that on the wheelchair. Over here, the transition is good to get onto the road, and the transition is good over here. So I'll actually take the sidewalk for a little ways. Oh, look, no I won't, because it looked like it was good until you get up here and realize that there have been heaves due to tree roots, and that's a pretty good chunk down. That's about 5 inches. So I'm turning around and going back to the street. Back on the slopey street, so I'm having to go in the middle. And it's broken up, so you can see that it's pretty jarring. I'm gonna cross the street because it doesn't look quite as bumpy over here. Right here where the church corner is, all of these have really nice sidewalks and pretty good transitions just when you're in this area. So then I'm coming up here to Main Street. We see over here, there's a sidewalk along the side of these main buildings, but that's also a curb, so I can't go up to get on the sidewalk there. And if you ask me how I found these out, it's because sometimes I was going along the sidewalk and thinking that I would be able to take it all the way down to my house, and then hit a place where there was a curb and had to turn around and go back. More than once I've had to turn around and backtrack where I was. So here is Main Street. I'm just going to do one block of this because I don't like going on Main Street. The sidewalks are really sloped. Can you see this? How much of an angle there is from the building to the street? That's really scary to do in a wheelchair. If you look across the street over here, see the business with the yellow curbs? Those are steps. No ramp to get in. So I'm going really slowly on here because I really don't like it. It makes me very nervous to be at this much of a slope. No, I'm not. I'm backtracking and going back down because that's just too much sloping for me. So it's back to the street for me, because the other side of the street is just as much of a slope. So I'm gonna watch around here for the traffic. Oh yay, there's no cars coming, so I'm good to go. This side over here, we got building with yellow curb. We've got black door, red door. I can get in those. And looks like this green building here is good. I've got a ramp there to get into. Go around back over here. I can get into this building, although there doesn't look like there's anything there, so it doesn't do anything for me. But look, this is a church. And it's got a curb. So I'm not going to that church. This is auto parts store. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. All have a curb. And there's no door on the side, so I'm not getting in that building. Ramp here. Transition off of the road is about a 3-inch transition from the asphalt to the cement. So that's a no-go without flipping me forward. This side I can get up onto the sidewalk. So this looks pretty good all the way down to the corner because that is a church. Okay, we're heading back towards Church Corner, so the sidewalks are always awesome around the churches. Nice gentle slopes going down, which is also very helpful for people with walkers or walking with a cane. And then we've got our transitions down, which are great. View with that. It sticks up a couple of inches. Now we're past the church. This is the driveway to come into the parking lot. But here's what I want to show you. Going all the way down here on the sidewalk. To the end of the sidewalk. And this, again, I'm not sure you can really tell on camera. Sidewalk ends, but the road is about 2 feet higher. So it's a really steep incline. So I have to turn and get off of the sidewalk over to this side. And I'm back on the sloping street that's really steep. I come back around. And again, we've got good sidewalk. And I'm thinking this was recently replaced because you can tell these trees are really old. So I'm sure that there are roots running under these sidewalks that would normally have made some heaves. But obviously somebody took the time to put in newer, good sidewalks. Moving along, heading where I want to go. And again, I get to the end of the sidewalk. And what are my options? I can't go forward because again there's a great big incline right there and it's too steep for my wheels to be able to do. If I turn this way, this sidewalk has got a curb. There's no transition there to get off the sidewalk. If I turn this way, I'm good for a little ways, and then the sidewalk is just completely broken up and there's definitely not passable with a wheelchair. So my only choice is to double back. And I go back here. Here's a sidewalk in front of this house. Is there a transition? No, that's a curb. So I'm back to doubling back further. Okay, so here's the driveway on the other side of this house's yard, so I can turn here and I'm back on the street with the slope. I got a car coming and I'm in the road, but I can't get any closer to the curb because here's a big dip right there. Now I'm back down here to where I had been on the sidewalk that I couldn't get through. Sidewalk because I know that it goes all the way through. It's a little bumpy, but at least it does have transitions on both ends, and there's no breaks in the sidewalk. And let me tell you, I never ever leave the house without my cell phone for just this reason. I have a fear that I'm going to tip over on one of these slope streets, or that I'm going to get stuck in a rut and my wheels are going to spin and I won't be able to get anywhere else. And up here, there's a branch down on the sidewalk. So I either go around the branch into the grass and hope that there's no sand or mud that I'm going to get stuck in. Which today there's not because we have good rain. And I've got a decent transition here, but there is no sidewalk going that way. Hopefully a little bit of the wind. I'm going to cut through the courtyard of the school. So of course all of these sidewalks are awesome. They're relatively new and smooth. Imagine what people do in Europe where all the cobblestone streets are, because my butt goes numb if I'm out somewhere that's really bumpy streets. So I think you'd probably stay that way if all the roads were cobblestone. The school, of course, is wonderfully wheelchair accessible because they have to be. And here we go. I'm back home. So that was just a short loop. Wasn't even, I guess 4 streets was all that I covered.